guys, I'm Jen Houston and welcome to Shut Your Cake Hole, where we talk about cakes, cakes, and cakes.
Little cake of horrors, watch me bake. Let me make the terror. Little cake of horrors, oh, 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 oh.
So you guys, I have a brother, well I have 4 of them, but one of them lives in Ashland, Oregon. And he's always bragging about his garden and look what I grew and look at this flower and look at these orchids. And I'm thinking, you know what? I live in New York City. I could have a garden. I could have a fancy plant. So that's what I decided to make for you guys today. And I'm gonna show you step by step how I did Audrey II from Little Shop of Horrors. Let's get started. I did this yesterday. I drilled a 1/2-inch flange, a small piece of PVC, 1/2 inch, a coupler, 45-degree angle, another tiny piece of PVC, another 45-degree angle, another piece of PVC, another 45-degree angle, another piece of PVC, and then a T coupler. And then I just took a couple of cake boards, some really firm armature wire, and I stuck it out on the board so it would have something to glue to. If you would like to see me build from board up, I would suggest you refer back to last year's Scream in the Box episode. It is a very, very similar structure. So I need to build up my structure with some Rice Krispie white chocolate confections. Oh, Mew thinks they're treats. Just a little bit of that. All right, I'm just gonna try to divide this between these guys. Oh God, did it again!
Ow! Damn roses.
He doesn't really need blood. It's just a cake.
Feed me, Carbon! Feed me now!
Now I can move on to some cake. I have a chocolate peanut butter fudge cake here, which I am going to tort a couple of times. Fill this guy with some ganache, go a little down. I'm going to add some milk chocolate English toffee crunch. Super! Did you know that before the Broadway musicale, Little Shop of Horrors, hence the movie musical, it was a cult classic made in 1960 by filmmaker Roger Corman.
Feed me! You can talk!
And it was the first time I saw Jack Nicholson.
Most people don't like to go to the dentist, but I rather enjoy it myself.
Just going to come in and take a little bit off, cutting a slight angle as I go. Let's put this guy back in the freeze. While those cakes are chilling, I'm gonna show you how I made a bunch of leaves with wafer paper and a leaf mold. Wafer paper is basically made out of potato flour, potato starch. When it gets wet and dries, it becomes very, very firm. You want some floral wire, which I did not have, so I had to make my own. I always have craft wire, which I coated in some floral tape. Et voila. I've got this cool, very realistic leaf molds, a little bit of water, and some powdered food colors. I want to use powdered color because we're making a kind of paste that dries very quickly. Now I'm going to take my wafer paper, shiny side down. You have a very limited window to work with wafer paper, and you don't want to saturate it. You just want to dampen it. Give it a little press. I'm going to take some edible glue and the other piece of wafer paper, shiny side. Give it 1 mist of water and lay that flat. And again, get your mold, and you're going to give that a little press. So I'm just gonna set that off to dry. Here's one that I did yesterday. That's nice and dry. The stem is not going anywhere. It's nice and firm. And when it is nice and firm, take my little craft scissors and just cut it out. And I have a little leaf. If I feel like it is too flat and not realistic enough, I can take a little water and just brush the edge and set it off to dry. And when you come back, it will have curled a little bit, misshapen itself, so it looks a little more realistic. And I just want to say a word about using non-edible things in cakes. It's totally fine as long as you use your head. My sister-in-law sent me a frantic message one time. A friend of hers had eaten some birthday cake and she had swallowed a piece of floral wire and required surgery. Listen, cover up anything that is non-edible and tell whomever you give the cake to what is edible and what is not. You have to do what's right by your customers or your friends or your family. Don't send your party guests to the hospital. Let's go back to our structure. This is aluminum foil tape just to make everything food safe and also a little more secure. All right, it's been a while since I have sculpted any cake because we have been in quarantine for 5 months. I'm gonna start building this up with some fondant and some modeling chocolate. There's just such a long period of time where it just doesn't look like it's going to come together. I would love to get to the point where I just trust that it's going to come together. There's also the added stress of like having you guys watch. Thank God it's not live. You wouldn't believe some of the shit that goes down here. I'm kidding, nothing happens. I just made some avocado color, which I think is a good base. He's got a really bizarre pattern on his skin, and it's not snake skin, it's not alligator skin. So I have this bubble mold, and we'll see what this looks like. That's pretty fucking cool. You know, when you guys are looking for things to emboss with, sometimes you might even have what you need right around your own house. Something I will probably use for snakeskin sometime, or honeycomb, is this silicone pot holder. This mold would also be good for frog skin if I was doing a big frog. I might. I do a lot of children's cakes. Hey now. And this is just some pink modeling chocolate. Some little teeth holes. Very jig-jaggedy, uneven, and weirdly spaced. And I'm just using a little white modeling chocolate for his teeth. So I got the monster on my temporary holding station, and now I need to go back to the terracotta pot, bring out my terracotta colored fondant. I do make my own fondant. To be a perfect pot. I mean, after all, this pot didn't come from Pottery Barn, it came from Mr. Mushnick's.
What's going on down there? Very little, Mr. Mushnick.
So if you haven't seen this movie musicale, it really is a horror movie, but it's not, you know, blood and guts, and yeah, it is a little blood and guts and gore, but it's adorable. I can't sing any of the tunes for you because We can't license those songs. I can't go,
I know Seymour's the greatest.
all right, and I want to just find the center-ish. Just bust right through there. Going down just like that. Giving it some dirt. That's why we never throw our cake scraps away. We'll do a 50-50 half fondant modeling chocolate for this guy's lips. It's almost like there's a flower inside of his mouth. I'm just gonna mess around until I come up with some mess of shit going on inside his mouth. Now I'm gonna take some confectioner's glaze and see if I can make all of these components look like they're wet. I'm just giving his vine some little spikes. Take some of this armature wire. I'm just making more leaves back here, hiding these wires. Put down Mr. Mushnick's old-timey linoleum floor. It's sort of that mint green and white checkered. Just taking a hypodermic needle and popping the bubbles. What am I doing with a hypodermic needle, you ask? That's because I used to be a medical secretary and I stole it.
Excuse me.
Brushing these tiles with some water, making the tiles stick together, and it also will make the floor shiny. What are you doing, man? Hey, hey! All right, you guys, I am done with this mean green mother from outer space. Now, I showed you how to put such a gravity-defying cake together using PVC pipe and fondant and modeling chocolate and Rice Krispie treats and cake. I guess I should taste it. He might be from outer space. This cake is out of this world. Thank you so much for joining me. And if anybody ever tries to sell you a rare exotic plant in the middle of a total eclipse of the sun, you tell them from me I said to shut your cake hole.